Joining me in the studio from the Warren County Board, we do have Chairman Mike Pearson. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
Also, Building and Grounds Committee Chair Sean Cavanaugh. Good morning.
Good morning, Vanessa.
How are you guys?
Well, the first part of your forecast gave me a headache, kind of
Stinky.
Kind of sticky, but you know, we're in the home stretch. We are in the home stretch, and everyone older than me says it could still have a blizzard in March. That's fine, but it won't last but for about 10 minutes. So home stretch, spring's around the corner. Very excited.
Baseball this weekend. College baseball.
Well,
I have to get excited about it because my basketball team is horrific.
they are not good this year.
So, yeah, I don't know what. We got too many really, really good players that all want the ball at the same time. So, onward and upward to college basketball.
Get on each other's shoulders.
Yeah.
Got to learn how to share.
Yeah. That's why we'll just get excited for college baseball. Come on, I'm going to win me a World Series this year.
Okay.
It's happening.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right, guys, yesterday we had the county board meeting. Not a lot of action steps, but some really important information that was shared with you guys. Go ahead and take it away.
Okay. We started off with a presentation, Sean.
Yes. Addison Brooks Switzer competed in the Miss Warren County Fair, and she won. Son of Marcy and Joe Switzer. I'm sorry, daughter. And
What the heck?
sorry.
She was 16th at the Miss Illinois County
Yes.
Fair Queen pageant. Congratulations
Yeah, so
to Addi Switzer.
we had a resolution written up hereby, whereas, for bringing positive attention to the great county of Warren and working really hard to represent Warren County. It's quite an accomplishment. And, something like that, you just don't show up and smile and they grade you and they put you in place. You've got to have pop questions, speeches, all kinds of stuff going on. So she really had to prepare a great deal. So to be in the top 16 out of all the pageant winners in the state, that's quite an accomplishment. And Deneen Killey was her coach, mentor type thing.
Yes.
And she did a fantastic job. And in talking with her, I realized, boy, she's got quite a track record.
She has a resume that is long and very, very good.
Decorated.
Lots of girls have done wonderfully at the pageant under Deneen's leadership. So,
And I feel bad that in the past we haven't had resolutions for the others, but I assure you we will in the future because that's a big deal. I mean, it takes a lot of work, a lot of commitment. It's just like, when you're in a sport, even if you don't win, it teaches you a lot about yourself. You come out of your shell. Same thing with these pageants. It teaches you a lot about yourself and that even though you're nervous, you can get in front of these people and answer these questions and work real hard. So Joe and Marcy were there, very proud. Addison was in school taking classes. He was going to FaceTime her on Facebook or something. And since she was in class, they held up a picture. And then when he presented the resolutions, it was Marcy, Joe, Mr. Pearson, and a picture of
yes.
her. So well-deserved. She deserves it, most definitely.
Yes, and we've watched Addi grow, and many young ladies grow through their FFA programs at United and Monmouth Roseville, and that helps them with their public speaking skills, their confidence levels. It's really exciting to see everything work together in this county, and then for such great things with our pageants.
Yeah, the FFA is a wonderful organization, and it you're not a one-trick pony. In the FFA, they teach you many, many things. And again, it brings out skills in people that they didn't realize they had. So props to the FFA.
And next week, we'll be celebrating National FFA Week.
Oh, is there any
Great.
party?
Good timing.
We will have tons of, Kaylee Foster's been working hard on getting all of our interviews done with our students, our officers. So next week, you're going to get to hear lots of information from our local students.
That's great. It'd be very popular with the public. Just throwing this out there. Maybe if they had like a big old grill outside and we're doing, pork chop sandwiches and things like that.
Well, that would be awesome. A lot of them this week have been having West Central, Monmouth Roseville, United just a few weeks ago have all had their big alumni auctions.
Oh.
So they've partaken in a good celebration for the FFA. So, yeah. Okay,
Sounds
next.
great.
Yeah. Then we had an audit discussion. You want to tell us about the audit?
We did, and the county has moved into the 21st century because it was through Zoom, and that's the first time we've been able to do that. But essentially, our auditors have almost finished our audit. There's a few outstanding things that they have to tidy up before it gets in print, but essentially we met with Whipley, and our auditors are giving us a clean report and saying that we have a few dollars in the bank and things are looking good. But essentially, the technology was the interesting part. Everybody could see and hear, and yet they didn't have to drive for a couple hours to get here.
It was all good news. And one of the numbers that everyone pays attention to is if all this fellow riding lawnmower around the square, hope he's okay. But
That is a traffic report brought to you by Sean Cavanaugh.
yeah, be careful. He's wearing an orange hat, so you'll be able to see him.
Oh, yeah, he is going very, very slow around the square.
Yeah, that truck got close. Anyway, but there's several different things that they look at, and they were all positive. I mean, milestones and everything in order. And so that's it was a remarkably positive report, and we love those because not every county receives positive reports like we do. I give a lot of credit to the Finance Committee and to the board as a whole for always keeping an eyeball on the checkbook.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We got a clean audit report. That's excellent.
Yes.
And I was there for that presentation, and he had a few questions on a couple of processes, working on those to make those better, which happens, and that's what you want an audit for, is to help you with your processes,
Right.
especially in the new technology world. Speaking of which, you guys dealt with a pretty difficult challenge with technology due to a former company, but it sounds like that has rectified itself with a new company, and we can kick off again into the 21st century.
Right. That's the company that helps us maintain our data that ultimately gives us our real estate tax bills. But it starts out in the assessor's office, houses all the information, all of the addresses and descriptions of the property and values. Then it goes to the county clerk's office where they apply the levies, and then it goes to the treasurer's office that ultimately ends up in the real estate tax bills where you get to pay your taxes. And of course, that doesn't affect just the county. That affects every taxing body in Warren County, which includes Carl Sandburg, the school districts, everybody and their brother.
We had a company that just didn't seem to be pulling their weight, and there were some problems, and some response times were unsatisfactory from what they had promised and what we were paying for. So we went in a different direction and went with a company that hit the ground running, and we were able to get the data from our previous client, if you will, and the new company has it, and it was another great report.
Right.
Yeah,
By the
DevNet
individual.
is the name of the new company, or new
DevNet.
vendor, I should say, that you're using.
Right.
So glad that was able to happen.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. That could have been a problem. But Warren County is always very good about circling the wagons and finding a solution. That we did, and we ended up with a far better product than we ever had, and it'll be far better moving forward.
Okay.
Taxpayers should be happy about that one.
On our website this morning, you can find the Paid Leave for All Workers Act has been halted temporarily for municipalities. Mike, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, municipalities, does that include counties?
That's a good question. What have you heard? Because right now, all we've seen is municipalities.
Okay.
And like I said, I put it up on the website this morning, straight from the Illinois Radio Network News Association. And it's in a holding pattern until certain rules.
The Workers' Leave Act was put into place last year by the state government, and right off the bat, there was a lot of questions about it. I have been to 2 seminars online, and we get reports through county associations. I have had at least 3, if not 4, reports that the original plan for this was more for especially small businesses, although it applies to all employers. But counties and municipalities were supposed to be exempt. I've heard that multiple times and seen it in print. but they weren't. There's a lot of real questions. Essentially, if you, like here at the radio station, you hire a dozen different people, whether they're full-time or part-time, they come under the auspices of this Paid Time Off Act, and essentially you need to provide them with up to 40 hours of paid time off for every 1 hour for every 40 hours that they work. Now, taking that a step further, if you have summer help, or if you hire a housekeeper in your home to come in for 3 hours a week to do your house cleaning,
Or you hire a temp.
they qualify for paid time off. So if how do you keep track of that? How do you document that? Now, if you hire a service, then the service is responsible for the paid time off. But if you hire the nice person down the street from you to do your house cleaning, then you're responsible for the paid time off and documenting that.
I think this became
kind of a challenge.
It became a situation where the state, this may come as a shock to some people, acted without doing enough research on how it was going to impact different entities, whether they be State Farm across the square here, or Smithfield, or Warren Achievement Center, or whomever. And so as different organizations were looking at this thing, they were like, well, so many questions came up. And as a result, the state wisely said, let's think about this a little longer so we can have the best final product.
Well,
yeah,
but
they
went
forgot that a lot of employers already provide paid time off. It's already on an accrual method. Many employers already provide that, just like we do here.
Certainly.
And so they weren't, so it was very few businesses that don't provide some sort of paid time off to full-time employees. This was somewhat about the under 32 hours a week employee as well. But then you got unions to consider.
Absolutely.
And you got your municipalities to consider who have you can't have so many people off at the same time.
Right. And unions, they are very well represented, thankfully, and they are able to bring a lot of these questions out into the open so they can be considered by lawmakers. So they were good in that manner. And just wish the state would just get it together already. Man, I mean, gee whiz.
So, all right, that's on hold. And then finally, it's 8:26. We're talking with Mike Pearson, who is the chairman of the Warren County Board, and Sean Cavanaugh, who is the Building and Grounds Committee chair. Had a presentation by DeLorean Power, and they are out of Arlington, Virginia. And this is a long-term owner-operator of battery storage projects. Gentlemen, tell us what their interest is in Warren County.
Well, their interest is south of town. We have a power substation with McDonough Power, and we own the farmland right next to it. They would like to do a long-term lease with us, 6 acres, in which to install battery backup. And the advantages of battery backup is essentially twofold. One is that when power is being generated in the middle of the night and nobody has their lights on, and a lot of your factories and buildings are shut down, they can store that excess power, and then during the day, when everybody wants extra power, it can come from the battery storage rather than potentially having a brownout or a blackout, or trying to create extra generation for just very short periods of time. It also can come into effect should the major power lines go down that supply a section of the grid. If they're on that particular grid, then they can supplement the power usage, even though the distribution line is down. So there's some definite advantages. This is a product that's been out there for a couple of years since they were able to create battery storage for large users. And we're in the initial discussions of this. Their thought process is the first thing they need to do is see, because we own the land next to the substation, are we interested in leasing it to them for 20 or longer years? And then if we get a positive reaction from the landowner next to the substation, then they take the next step, working with whoever owns the substation, which is McDonough Power in this case, and go through the rest of the steps. But if the landowner isn't interested, then they're not going to waste their time going any farther with anybody else and getting people's hopes up and plans done and costing money.
And if it comes to where there is going to be an agreement, the devil will be in the details on just what they would pay whomever, the county, if they use part of the county farm. What are they going to pay us? And what was said publicly and was stated, and there's stuff all over the place on it, $10,000 plus 2% annual escalation for 20 years. But, I think in the year 16, power is going to be worth one heck of a lot more than it is today. And a little 2% increment isn't going to mean a hill of beans. So my guess is, if it were solely up to me, I would be working those numbers very hard before anything is signed to make sure that we would get the best deal possible. I mean, everyone involved has to have an incentive to take part, But I think thinking of a fair, equitable distribution of funds is exactly in the best interest of the county and its taxpayers. Would clearly bring in more than just leasing the farmland, but then what's it going to be leased for in 20 years from now? And so we have to look into our crystal ball to try and get the best possible deal. But as Mike said, we voted unanimously to keep the process flowing so they could do some more research, contact some more people, come back to Warren County, report their findings, and then we'll make another decision if we want to keep moving forward from then.
Okay.
And it's a financially positive activity that requires minimal land.
Okay. Guys, thank you very much, and we'll keep you posted on this project as the discussions do continue.
Boom. Perfect.
Thank you, gentlemen, so much for being here today.
You have a great day.
Yeah, you
Thank
too.
you.
Mike Pearson, Sean Cavanaugh with us from the Warren County Board on WRAM. If you have more questions, feel free to reach out to your county board representation.